have a new keeper here for you to meet. Thanks for showing her the ropes.
Yeah, certainly.
Talk
You're
to you
welcome.
later.
Come on in. We'll get started here. It's not quite noon yet, and this morning the work was cleaning the exhibits and sending the cats out safely. And so we'll show you the board here. We'll tour the cat area more in a little bit, but as you can see, we have a list of all of our animals and their locations. So if I shift an animal out on exhibit for the day, then we want to make sure we know where that animal is. But we also need to know where the animal's inside, which animals are inside. And so we have 2 tigers, but only one of them goes on exhibit. And so we want to make sure we know which one's on exhibit and which one's inside, so that later we can shift them in and feed them safely. But since they're already out and taken care of for the morning, I'm going to start on some diets, and we'll get you started training on that. One of the things that we have to be very careful of is the fact that we use a very sharp knife for this. And so we are actually going to use some safety gloves. So we put these gloves on, and that way if the knife slips or something happens, then there's less chance that we get scrunched, our fingers get scrunched. Now, I don't know if you've had the chance to think about this much at all, but our cat diets really only consist of meat. Since they have to eat meat, that's what we give them all the time. Now sometimes you'll see that they get enrichment like some herbs and spices or things like cantaloupe, and they'll eat those, but they don't eat those for nutrition. They just eat those for enrichment. We're not really sure why they like cantaloupe, but lions really love cantaloupe. But here, we're going to take care of their entire meat diet. So we have our safety gloves on because we're going to be using a knife. But to keep the safety gloves clean, and because we have to be protective of these cats during COVID-19, we're going to put rubber gloves on over our safety gloves. Now it's kind of silly, seems kind of silly we have to use gloves over gloves. Sometimes I wear the green gloves under the safety gloves with green gloves over that, so I wear all kinds of gloves. Now the cats will probably be safe. They don't normally, it's not common that they get the COVID-19 virus, but they can, so we want to make sure that we don't contaminate anything if we can help it. So if you want to come on in here and I'll show you what we have set up. I've already started getting things together. This is our fridge, very exciting, and then all of our dishes. So we use stainless steel dishes because they're easy to clean, because when we use the meat, we have to scrub them really well to make sure that we don't have any blood stuck on them or any bits of meat, and that we just have them disinfected so they're clean for the next time we use them. And over here, we have our diet sheet. So we talked to the veterinarian, and we have prescribed amounts of food that each cat gets. So if you look at the top here, our snow leopard Mutig, he gets 2.5 pounds of food almost every day, and he gets a 1/4 pound of chicken every day. The exception generally is on Friday, which is a bone day. So tomorrow is going to be Friday. So he's going to get a bone tomorrow. Or all the cats are going to get bones tomorrow. So their diets are changed a little bit. So we follow this list every day to make sure that they get the correct amount of food to make sure that they stay healthy. Now, we monitor the food. Obviously, we have a scale here. So I'm going to start with the tigers. And I'm cheating by starting with the tigers. But our male tiger Czar, he gets 7 pounds every day. But I've already given him 2. So some cats get food in the morning, and I gave Czar 2 pounds. So now I know that in the afternoon, I need to feed him 5 pounds. Now each of these packages is 5 pounds. So for a cat like Czar, it's very easy, because I can just open up this package and put it in my bucket, and I know that Czar has the correct amount of food for the night. So that's what Czar gets. That's pretty easy for a diet, isn't it?
Where did you put it?
Oh, well, we have buckets right here. So I kind of have my way of setting things up, and everybody has their own way. But for me, this is the easiest. The bucket's right there, and I can, I know where the food is, I know where the old buckets are, I know where the new buckets are, I know what order I do the diets in, so I keep track. And so the next tiger, I just put it in the same bucket in different parts so that I know it's separated. Angara needs 4 pounds this afternoon because her diet is 6 pounds, and I gave her 2 this morning. So I'm pretty sure this is close. I cut about 1 pound off what I think is 1 pound, but I'm going to double check and make sure that I have 4 pounds for her. And so I'm going to use the scale over here with the rest of this meat. So if we look at the scale, hopefully I'm pretty close. Practice this a little bit. So you can see that where the pounds is on the bottom, so you go 1 pound, 2 pound, 3 pound, 4 pound. So I'm right at 4 pounds. So this is the amount of food that Angara gets for the evening. But a unique part about Angara's diet, and Angara's day, is that she needs a couple medications. So in the evening, she gets a couple different pills, and these are just to help with her digestion. And so we want to make sure she gets these every night. Unfortunately, Angara isn't a very picky eater, so she'll eat anything. And she eats all of it. So we just push her pills in her food there. That way when she's eating, she'll just swallow the pills and not even know it. And it'll keep her healthy. So right there we have the Tiger diets. I know these are the Tiger diets, so I'm going to put them in the fridge. Like I said, I have my own way of doing it.
So is that the Tiger shelf?
So this is where I put the Tiger diets that I'm ready to give in the afternoon. Marisa, my coworker, does it a little bit differently, but since I am going to feed them in the afternoon, I just have my way of knowing where the diets are. Okay. If somebody else were to come in and feed the animals in the evening, we actually have Frisbees that we put on top of the diet. So if I did Mutique's diet, I would put this Frisbee on top so that the person coming in would know that it's Mutique's diet and would feed that cat the diet that Mutique eats. So over on the other side, over on the Tiger side, we also have Cougars. And so I'm going to do the Cougar diet. It's very simple, as you can tell. It's just these big big packages of meat. Now, together, Jasper, our male cougar, and Ruby, our female cougar, get 5 pounds total. But Ruby's a little underweight right now, so she's getting a little bit more food. And so she gets slightly more than he does. Like I said before, this is a 5 pound package, and Jasper gets 2 1/4 pounds, while Ruby gets 2 3/4 pounds. So I'm weighing this out now. You can see that she needs just a little bit more, so she's got to be in between those 2 bars. So I'm going to put a little bit more food until it matches up with 2 3/4. And since this is a 5 pound package, I know that what's left after the 2 3/4 pounds is the 2 1/4 pound for Jasper. So I'm going to put that up top there. And this is the Cougar bucket. I know this is the Cougar bucket, so I'm going to put that over here. And next I'm going to do the lion diet. Can anybody guess what kind of food I'm going to put in the bucket for the little lions?
I bet it's meat.
Yeah, if you guessed meat, you're right. It's very easy. I do have some chicken here. I haven't pulled any chicken out. I'll show you that with the snow leopards. With their prescribed amount of chicken, I usually give that to them in the morning. So most of the cats have already gotten it. But I'll show you how we do the chicken with the snow leopards here in a minute. Okay, so we have 2 lions. We have Mumford the male, and we have Maji the female. And Mumford gets 6 pounds, and I've already given him 2, so he needs 4 more pounds. So if you're paying attention, you're kind of getting the fact that we're using fractions here. So I have a 5 pound container of food, and he needs 4 pounds, so he gets 4/5 of the package. And then there will be 1/5 left. Oh, there's a little bit extra in there. And sometimes if there's a little bit extra, it's not too bad, but you don't want to do it all the time, because if you get this much extra food every day, you're going to start gaining weight, and that's not good. So he's got 4 pounds here. That's his entire diet. Now Maji, the female, she gets 5 pounds every day. But she's already had 2. And so 5 pounds minus 2 pounds is 3 pounds that she needs left. And so after practicing so much, I know that she needs 3/5 of this because that's 3 pounds out of 5 pounds. So we'll see if we got 3 pounds here. Oop, and that's just a little bit more too. So there you go. Now we have 3 pounds for her. She's all set up in this bucket. Now we actually have 3 cats left. We have Muti, the male snow leopard, and we have Alia, the mom snow leopard, and Asha, the baby snow leopard. Now right now, Alia and Asha are still together, which means they get a combined diet because we don't separate them to feed them right now. And so their total diet for the day is 4 pounds with half a pound, does it say on here? Well, there's a 1/4 pound of chicken on here. So they get 4 1/4. Sometimes you forget. See, that's why you write it down all the time. So I'd make sure they get 4 pounds. Now, if you remember, I cut 2 pounds, 2/5 off of one of these packages, and I cut 1/5 off of 2 other ones. So I should have 4 pounds here. Let's see what we got. See, there you go, right at 4 pounds. I hope my boss is watching because I'm putting right on the numbers today. Okay, so they have their feline diet in there. Now I'm going to give them a little bit of chicken. So like I said, they get about 1/4 pound of chicken. And the reason that I wait to give them this 1/4 pound of chicken in the afternoon is that I need them to shift into a different area of holding for the night. So right now, do you have a question?
So what does shift mean exactly?
Okay, so right now, our male snow leopard is outside on exhibit, and we have him shut out in the outdoor exhibit area, which means the 2 females, the mom and the baby, Alia and Asha, have access to all of the off-exhibit holding area where they stay when they're not on exhibit. And so in order to bring Muti in at night, we have to move mom and cub into a certain area, a certain section of the indoor holding. So they get half of the holding, and then Muti will get half of the holding. So we have to move, which is what I mean when I say shift, mom and the baby into the 2 areas. And then I can shift, I can move, I can shift Muti into the other 2 for the night.
Thank you.
So I'm going to check this chicken here. And chicken is one of their favorite treats. So it's part of their diet, but we don't use it very often. We don't want them to get too much chicken. It's not as healthy as the other meat. And so we want to make sure that they get a little bit, but not too much. But because they love it and they don't get it very often, they're very motivated for the chicken. And so it makes it a lot easier to shift animals if you give them a food that they really like. Just like I bet your mom gives you some incentive to clean your room or help out around the house. That's a same thing. So we got a 1/4 pound of chicken for the snow leopards here. And now we just have 1 more snow leopard to work with, that's Muti. And he gets 2.5 pounds, which is very convenient because this is a 5 pound chub, right? So 2.5 should be half of 5 pounds. So I'm going to cut this in half and see how close I got. Just a little bit over. So there we go, 2.5 pounds. So he's gonna get this container. And he also gets a 1/4 pound of chicken, so I'm gonna cut up some chicken for him. Now until I started working here, I always used to just cut my chicken on my food with a knife on the cutting board. But this little knife system is very easy. It makes it very easy to cut up chicken. You don't need all the space necessarily. It's easier to cut up and it makes less of a mess. This is a nice system to have here. See if that's 1/4 pound. Not quite, so we'll give them a little bit more. That's a good piece. And there we are.
I'm gonna take take a look at this bowl.
Sure. So you can see here, I've got one container here. That's Mutig's diet, but then if you pull this off, because I'm going to feed them and move them, shift them at the same time, so I put them together. So that's what their diets look like. Isn't the most difficult thing, because you only use 1 or 2 different types of meat. When you see primates, or if you've seen primates, you know it's more complicated because they use a lot of different kinds of things. But we want to make sure that we stay close to what the veterinarian wants, and then we monitor their weights to make sure that they're staying healthy. Because if they start losing weight or gaining weight, we know at least they're getting the same amount of food, so something else is going on. Well, I'll let you go for now. I don't want you to have to see the cleanup. You'll get to that later, but thank you for coming down and learning about how we do cat diets.
All right, I'll see you later.
Okay, sounds good.